Welcome to Market Like a Hotshot. Jeff DeSocio and Halloween Master James Feudo. What's up?
That's right. Halloween's tomorrow.
Halloween is tomorrow. What happened to 2025?
I know. Isn't it insane how quickly
gone.
the year's gone by?
It's gone. Now I have to rake leaves. This is like besides the candy and eating some Reese's peanut butter cups, this is not my, I'll tell you. I mentioned before fall was one of my favorite, but now the leaves are falling off the trees.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, I got yard work to do and all that.
Yeah, I mean, having like this gloomy, wet leaves going on outside, and this weather is just terrible. I think it'll be a little bit nicer for the kids tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, definitely. After we have a northeaster coming in tonight, and then tomorrow it's actually going to be warm. So, but I was driving around the city of Framingham, and I saw this graveyard.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, before we get into today's main topic of pricing like a hot shot, I wanted to talk a little bit about social media platforms that are in that graveyard.
Right.
So what was your favorite one that's obviously no longer around that you used to love using and connecting with people on?
My favorite one was actually Stumble Upon.
I didn't even know about Stumble Upon. Wow.
It was a cool one because what you could do is you would post a website URL on there.
Yeah.
And then it would just like send it out to thousands of people and you would get a ton of traffic. I used to get a ton of traffic to my my public speaking blog like 10, 12, 15 years ago, whenever it was, just due to that network. But yeah, that's one that a lot of people haven't really thought much about.
Yeah, that's one I never even knew. I mean, I have a list, MySpace. I was a laugh at MySpace, but I'm a big music guy, right? So a lot of musicians had MySpace accounts, but man, what happened to that one?
I know, it's like, it was the one that everyone thought would be around forever, that and like AOL.
AOL, America Online, huh?
Yeah, and then
COL, Canada Online.
Well, now it's like sold to. I just read this morning it was going to get sold, and I don't even think it. I remember they merged with Time Warner back in either the late '90s, early 2000s, and then because you'll see movies that will say Warner Brothers and AOL Time Warner Company. It was so big it merged with Time Warner, and now it's like
that is very ghoulish.
Yeah.
Ghoulish. And, getting a little bit closer to now, Clubhouse. Remember that was the pandemic social media platform?
That was the one that everybody was talking about. And, I went in and I tried to, I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I remember seeing a lot of people posting that, come to my Clubhouse room or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't really use it that much.
No, I mean, you might have a celebrity in the room. I was in one, I don't know, like Richard Branson was in one of them.
Right.
I mean, it was good. You had access to that, but man, that one went kapoof really quick.
Yeah.
Just like Google Plus.
Oh, that was a missed opportunity.
How did Google Plus go out? I mean, Google's the search of all searches, right? You would think one of the biggest companies, just as big as Meta, just as big as X and all that, right? Mm-hmm. What happened to Google Plus?
I mean, wasn't it called Wave at one point too? Like they had all these different names for it, and I don't understand why Google of all people couldn't have come up with a good social media platform.
I thought they were just going to buy somebody, but
yeah.
So those are like some of the graveyards we saw, right? Those tombstones in that cemetery over here on the north side of town. I drove by yesterday. But speaking of ghoulish, the challenge of owning a business, right? Pricing like a hot shot. I always say, especially when it comes to your own friends becoming customers of yours, you always want to help out a friend. You go to a friend, can you help me out? And I love it, and I will jump into some great topics about it today. But hey, Jeff, can you build this website for free? Or imagine if you're a landscaper, hey, can you come in my yard and put some new bushes in? Or since you're my friend, let's do it for free. Right? The emotional weight of pricing, right? Pricing's not math, it's an identity, right? So when you set your price, this is what it costs, right? You might be saying that, you might be thinking about that, but what's it really worth, right? So elaborate on that, the emotional weight of pricing. You own a business,
right? And
you probably go through that same thing, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because especially when you're first starting out, this is critical. That you price yourself as best you can. There's times where you lack that confidence because you haven't done a lot of jobs, so you may have to do them at a discounted rate just to get things going.
Yeah.
But then as your business grows, you have to really consider what your costs are and what your value really is. I like to use the analogy of a car dealership.
Yeah.
There are people that will come to me. I still get these people now that will call me and, I'll quote them a price and they'll be like, wow, that's a lot more than what I thought. And then when I'm like, well, what were you? Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's like 2-3 times more than what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Other times it's like 10 times. And it's not like our prices are unreasonable.
Yeah.
But I'll give you an example. I had somebody call that wanted a complex e-commerce website that had all these integrations and all these features. And, I gave him a quote and he's like, wow, I thought it would only be like $500. I'm like, you can't even get that on Fiverr.
I know. An e-commerce site for $500.
No, you're never going to.
What are we? Hey, we're going back to the MySpace days, I think, right there.
We really are.
Yeah, 1997 or something.
Yeah.
And, as a business owner, you start questioning yourself. Are you good enough?
Yeah.
Are they thinking you're greedy? Or what if they say no? That's a fear when you're in a business, especially when you're trying to get your first client.
Right.
And you fear the no. You should embrace the no. We always talk about that from an entrepreneur perspective, right? You don't want, the twist is, the price is a filter. It's not a trap. You're not trapping people.
Right.
You're inviting the right people. Yeah. And I do this a lot with my networking groups.
Yeah.
I used to have free admission. And you know what? I was getting the wrong people.
Exactly.
Right? They're like asking me where the food is, or and they're creepy.
And they didn't even pay anything.
And they didn't pay anything. They're like, "Where's my food?" What do you mean, "Where's your food?" Yeah. So you always want to your pricing, the emotional weight of pricing, is your first way to weed out the wrong customers, the wrong clients. At the end of the day, it's wasting time.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to go to a luxury car dealership expecting to get a new car for $20,000.
Yeah,
but that's the way.
That's probably a car payment. Month,
I mean, and that's sometimes what a lot of entrepreneurs face is that you started out asking like working with friends, and when it's just your labor involved, I don't think people put a lot of value on that. If you're selling a physical object or product, you have your limits. It's like if you're paying $100 for the product, you're not going to sell it for $95.
Yeah. No.
So
you see that in Shark Tank all the time.
Yeah, and exactly.
They always ask you, "What does it cost to produce your product?" And they're like, "Oh, it's $5." Then why are you selling it for $6?
Right.
Then that's a low margin. So you don't want to. You want to get the right people. You want to get the right. Time is money.
Right.
Especially if you're in a services business. So you have to really do that. And then, then you talk about anchoring, right? That, people, you gotta be careful, right? To give a price initially.
Right.
Expand on anchoring.
Well, it's interesting because we always tell people, like, we do this, but we also advise our clients to do the same thing, is that we recommend that you have 3 tiers of packages essentially for your products or services. And you start with the highest one and then work your way down, because if you start with the lowest and work your way up, the first number that you give them, that's what's going to stick in their head. So
yeah, you always want to, even in our website company, you have 3 different tiers. Good, better, awesome. Right. You start with awesome, work your way down. That's a great tip. If you have a services business out there, start with the most expensive one. Don't always assume.
Right.
You have to start with your cheapest option. Start with the most expensive. I think that's the tip of the day right there.
Right.
Right. So, and also, what happens is, especially if you have 3-tier pricing, your mid-tier becomes a sweet spot, right?
It does.
I bet you sell most of your stuff on the mid-tier, right?
We do. And it's interesting because a lot of the sites we build and a lot of the sites that we look at, you always see, like, whether, you probably can all imagine this, but like, there's 3 columns, and then the left column is kind of set back, the right column is kind of set back, the middle column kind of pops out at you. Yeah. And it will have like best deal, best value, because that's what everybody's trying to drive people to, is that sweet spot.
It's like flying a plane. I gotta tell you out there, shout out to Breeze Airways, man. Mm-hmm. Can't wait when I fly down to Florida from TF Green down to Providence. But it's they always have they have it like in neon colors, right? The mid-tier pricing.
Yeah.
So that's a great marketing technique. You want to focus. That's the one you want to sell mostly. But when you're talking, start with the most expensive one. I mean, you're not manipulating, you're just clarifying what the options are for the folks. So that's anchoring now. So you have the emotional weight of pricing, you have anchoring. And how about positioning? Premium positioning, Mr. Feudo.
Well, the thing too is that a lot of times people associate premium with expensive, but it's really intentional. There's a lot of value with it as well. Like we do say that our services are premium because we give you a lot of things that others don't, performance, security, things like that, a lot of people are not giving their clients. And it's the same thing with cars, like a premium car may, have automatic driving or automatic windshield wipers.
I don't like automatic driving, man.
Didn't we try that out in my truck when we went to karaoke? We tested that out that night.
You took a nap and we're going down Route 95, right? Yeah, like I have a friend that has a Tesla, right? And we're at Burlington Mall one night, and he's like, I'm going to go get my car. And he's standing there. I'm like, are you going to get your car? Oh, no, it's driving over to me.
Yeah, you push a button in the car.
Push a button, the car actually drove over and picked him up. I was like, wow, that's a good valet service right there. I'm never gonna buy a Tesla. I'm sorry.
I'm not a big fan of I am a big fan of electric cars, but I just don't think they're quite there yet for me. So.
No, I just don't want to get electrocuted in a rainstorm. That's not happens. But yeah, get back to premium positioning. You have Apple, Lululemon. What do you think they sell? They don't sell premium phones. Apple phones are okay.
Right.
I mean, I know your iPhone people are going to throw your rocks at me right now, right? You love your iPhones. But, they're not, right? They're selling status. So that's what you want to do as a business owner, too, right?
Right.
Yeah, and, you think about coaching and consulting. There's so many coaches out there, man. But stop calling yourself a coach, right?
Yeah.
Call yourself a transformer.
Right.
And so that's where you're positioning yourself. So that way, when the pricing discussion comes out, nobody is shocked, right? Yeah, because you don't want to sound like, we talked about this before, but branding, I know we've gone on a little bit of a tangent here, but calling yourself a transformer versus a coach is very important, right? Because, what your brand does is signals quality, right? Visuals, testimonials, your tone, right? And also, the outcome is, the offer is outcome driven, not task driven. You give this information, the outcome's there, right? What's your thoughts on that? I'm asking you a question. Wake up, Feudo.
No, but I'm thinking about a lot of, it's funny, it's like it's making my mind go in a lot of different directions here with some of the stuff, like a true conversation. And I always like to ask, what does my price say about the result that I'm delivering? So when you mention that, you're not a coach, you're a transformer, you're focusing on the result and not the task, like you said. So a task is coaching people. The result is a transformation.
Transformation, that person's better. They're making money, whatever they're doing. So when you position yourself for the outcome.
Right.
That is the tip. That's the hotshot tip right there.
The hotshot tactic right there.
So a couple, starting with the most expensive option and also position yourself to focus on the outcome of your service. So when you have a company, what you do, like that landscaper, there's not going to be one leaf in my yard, right? That's the outcome.
Right.
That day I'll be jumping up and down when that day happens. Right?
The problem is of course, that'll happen, and then
2 days later,
everyone else's leaves come into your yard.
Yeah.
So you got to
don't tell my neighbor this, right? So there's no fence between my neighbor, Mike. I love the guy. Shout out to you, buddy. But I don't have a fence there. So when we get a good westerly wind, my leaves go into his yard.
See, I'm at the bottom of a hill, so I get the opposite. The leaves just keep coming down.
I'm hoping for that nice 40-mile-an-hour west wind tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Blow everything over. But speaking of that, when you hit the bottom, the race to the bottom,
race to the bottom. Oh,
that's the fear. What if somebody undercuts me? Yeah, that's a big fear, right? As a business owner. You don't want to be undercut because time is money.
Right. And it's a big temptation. We're at the stage now where we don't fall for it anymore. But at the beginning, and a lot of these hotshots out there are probably just starting out. It's tempting to sit there and let people undercut your value. And because you don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
But you also have to ask yourself, like I used to do many years ago, I did a speech called Angel and Devil Clients.
Oh boy, that's a hell of a speech.
No pun intended.
That's a Halloween type of topic right there. Was it like October 29th when you did this, or what?
It was years ago. I have to dig it up, but
all right. Well, we'll have to put that as one of the outros for one of the future.
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't think I ever recorded. Actually, no, I do have a recording.
All right. Well, look for it, Hotshots. It might be out there.
I gotta find it. Get the MP3 file somewhere. But no, in all seriousness. When you bring those people in, they tend to not be the best clients, and when they're strictly focused on price, there's always going to be someone cheaper than you. Like in our case, I mean, we're a full stack, full service agency. There's nothing to stop a freelancer from going out there and undercutting us. The reason our clients stick with us is because of the value we give them and because of the relationship and for other things. And there are people we've worked with that are just focused on price. So they're like, to use like just made up numbers, it's like maybe we're charging $50 a month and they're like, oh, someone will do it for $45. And I'm like, all right, you're going to spend all this money to save $5 a month and all this time.
Yeah.
And then what will happen is they'll be with that person and then someone will come around, oh, I'll do it for 40. And then they, and it's like, it's a downward spiral you just don't want to get yourself into.
Yeah, I mean, I when I got my new roof yesterday, man. I got my new roof in my house.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, nice little shop, man. My house looks like a new house, but same thing. I had like 5. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
5 different vendors. I didn't go with the cheapest one.
Yeah.
I was really looking for value, right? And they did a great job yesterday. I was very happy with it. My house looks great. It's ready for the big rainstorm.
Yeah.
But so you don't want to attract I don't want to nickel and dime. You don't want to attract those type of clients.
Because those type of clients, they tend to be very high maintenance. They want the world, like you had mentioned at the networking event. They're not paying for something yet. They're coming in and expecting dinner.
Oh, they're the worst ones.
They are.
They're the worst attendees.
And they have no loyalty. Yeah. And they make you burn out.
Yeah. I had one person. I don't get a lot of complaints because everyone loves our events, but I don't get any complaints hardly. But when I do, it seems like it's always those type. They want the free ticket. How come you have no more free tickets? Well, if you remember, I post our events 2 months ahead of time. And if you want a free ticket, you're gonna follow me.
Yeah.
So you get a message saying it's a free ticket. I'm not gonna give it to you now. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because, and I might feel bad sometimes. It's like somebody's out of a job, they need to network. Sure. But, you can't fall for everything. You can't fall for it because what happens is you'll resent it later. Right? You resent it. You want to, never have the margin to grow. You're never going to grow your business if you keep giving people favors.
Right. And, it's something I will share this. I internalize it a lot of times because it's not something that I'll externalize, because you can't be a business owner and let all your feelings out at times. But yeah, I mean, sometimes when you have some of these low value clients that you feel like you're doing, a favor for and they don't appreciate it, it really frustrates. It can really frustrate you. Like I know I've been personally frustrated with a lot of people. And so what I've done is just professionally, I've just sent them a note to say, look, I don't think I'm the best fit for you.
Yeah, you have to say that.
Yeah.
They're shocked when that happens.
They are, because what will happen is they'll negotiate you to death.
Yeah.
And, because they think it's a game. And then it's just like, you don't want to sever a relationship like that. And I've talked to people that have been in situations like that where they're like, oh, they told me I have 30 days, they're giving me 30 days. They want nothing to do with me. And like the way they've explained it, and I've seen the emails where the person has been super rude to them. Yeah. As much as inside I may feel the way that other person does, and have that frustration, it's like tell your spouse, tell like a trusted coworker, but like don't let it loose on the client. That's just a hotshot tactic.
That's a tactic. Oh, speaking of tactics, we're landing that plane, Mr. Feudo. Even if it's a little foggy out there today, it's a little dangerous. tactical tips. First one I'll start, and you'll get the other ones.
Yeah.
Auditing your pricing page. Make sure your pricing page is clear, confident, and outcome focused. Remember the outcome, right?
Right.
That's big, right? What's another one?
Having that premium tier, even if nobody buys it, because what it does is it helps put your desired tier right in the middle, smack dab for them to see the value in it.
Because you know what, you have that premium tier, most likely you're gonna sell more mid-tier, right?
Right.
And then how about testimonials?
Yeah, it's always good to have testimonials and to put them near your pricing when you can. It's just, that way people see what they're getting.
Yeah, I think I have another topic for getting reviews like a Hotshot, right?
Yeah, trust management. Yeah.
As maybe it's coming really soon.
Reminds me of like landing pages, like a Hotshot. Remember, we had that whole discussion on landing pages early on.
Yeah.
But that's why those things were successful, because they have the pricing and then the testimonials and then more features and then more testimonials. So it's a good strategy to use.
Yeah. One big one is stop apologizing to a potential client about your pricing.
Yeah.
Never ever apologize. Why?
Because then what will happen is they feel like they're making you guilty and that there might be some leverage to get to that price.
People are evil, man. They'll go after you.
That's
like Halloween. Yeah. We're on this theme today, right?
I'd say relentless is probably the word I would use, but yeah, and there's along those lines. You could actually flip the switch on that one and say that your price is about to increase, and that locks in, urgency if you lock in now. We've done that. We've raised prices, and I've talked to people, and I'm like, here's what's going on. It's right now it's October, and we're going to raise prices at the end of the year. But if you sign a contract within 30 days, we'll honor this price. And
you were such a salesman, Mr. Feudo. Jeez.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
We've had people do that. They've locked in right away.
Yeah. We do that with AMA all the time. So,
And it's not to give pressure in there, but it's just that we are trying to be consistent and be fair to other people too.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And then final one, right? Practice saying your price out loud. If you have to walk down the street like a crazy man, say your pricing out loud, because then it feels like you're breathing that beautiful air, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I remember practicing the word no in the mirror after making a bad decision when I was in high school. I remember saying
dated the wrong girl, right?
Yeah, so related to it actually was very. Yeah, I don't even know how you knew that, because I don't think we've ever talked about that story. But I did. I went in the mirror because I just couldn't. I had a hard time saying no to people, so I actually sat there and went no. And then, but along the same lines, it's like I've had to do the same thing with the pricing. It's like I catch myself and caught myself early on in the process where I'd be like, well, this is our price, but we'll do this for you. I really want to work with you, blah, blah, blah. And I've learned that was really destructive. So now I have done things like that where I'm like, the price is this.
Yeah. Well, that's what goes back to our tip a little while back about start with your premium pricing first.
Yeah.
Then then you may not run into that, right? Lock in that mid-tier. Because, price is not a number, right? It's a boundary.
Yeah.
It's a filter. It's a filter with types of businesses you want to work with.
Exactly.
We do this a lot in the staffing business, right? So the owner, John, he doesn't want us working with anybody. We don't want to work with just anybody. We want to work with the right clients.
Yeah. Not
the client that wants the absolute lowest rate, because, it talks about value. So, in any business, it's like that. So never get tempted to get, lower the price just to get a deal.
Right.
Then you look desperate. All right, so that's kind of like we're landing the plane here, right? We're at a topic, man. We incorporated Halloween in the graveyard with pricing today. It has to be one of the most interesting episodes ever with Market Like a Hotshot. What do you think? Right?
I think so. This is like it was. It's definitely a fun conversation. It's an important conversation to have, and it's one of those things that I wish I learned earlier on. I had to discover it on my own, and the folks out there may have to go through the same thing. It's like, some stuff we can tell you, but it's sometimes it's better to just like learn it on your own. And
you mess up, fail like a hotshot.
That would be
another topic.
That would be a great
man.
topic.
There's gonna be so many episodes, but we're on 21 today, right?
Right,
This
and
is
then
21, so we're getting close, man. We're gonna get up to 50, and then we'll start having guests on our podcast. But
right.
it's a ride, man. We got so many topics, so it's really psyched. So you gotta definitely follow us.
And we have two big pieces of news that will be coming up soon. The first is our next Market Like a Hotshot live part due. We have figured out the location. We're just got to figure out a date. So I think next week you and I will have a conversation with our friend and find out when the time works.
Yeah.
Once we get that, we'll announce it. Check the website, check our social media. And then, as Jeff mentioned, we're at episode 21. Episode 50 is when we'll have our first guest.
Yep.
We are trying to figure out who will be the first guest
Who will
on
be
there.
the first? I like you to, everyone out there are a wonderful audience. Definitely get back to us. We want the biggest influencers in the world to be our guests.
Yeah, we want to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, so it's gonna be great. Everyone's on a market like a hot shot. So like I would say, it's getting cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your hoodie? You got your hoodie, right?
Yeah, we got to get those.
Market Like a Hotshot hoodie, marketlikeahotshot.com. And follow us, Spotify, Apple,
iHeartRadio,
Amazon, and YouTube. If you want to see our beautiful Italian faces. Look at these dimples, man.
Right.
We've got it going. Have a good day. We'll see you all soon. Price it like a hot shot.